Salute Knicks Nation. The streets are buzzing. The New York Knicks bringing back Precious Achiuwa. Announced today, breaking news about 30 minutes ago. Precious Achiuwa is coming back to New York Knicks. 1-year deal for $6 million. Now let's chop it up. What does it mean for the center rotation now? Are the Knicks done making any more moves? We'll talk about that now and tonight with the best chat in the biz. Salute, guys. Big news. Great move. And finally, the domino has fallen with regards to Precious Achiuwa. And we're going to grade it as well, like we do always, fam. But appreciate you for joining us. Live stream, breaking news right now. Precious Achiuwa is going to be coming back to the New York Knicks. I've updated the roster and the depth chart right now. This is a big move because, you know, we obviously needed the center depth, but Precious can play the 4. He could play the 5 as well. We'll go through his stats this season and the road ahead. But we needed to do this, right? Leon Rose, there was talk of a sign and trade potentially, so that is off the table for right now. As Precious Achiuwa has signed, he can't be traded until December. So if the Knicks are going to bring in another big man, which we'll talk about now tonight, it'll have to be via, you know, trading someone else, whether it's Rokus's rights, picks, you know, other names we'll talk about, or signing just a veterans minimum free agent, or the $5.2 million exception. But Precious Achiuwa can't be signed and traded now until December. So he will be staying, right, which is good news for me. And I will get your reactions live in the chat. Delmar J from Puerto Rico. Danny, what's up, my friends? Mike, salute, and J-Dub. Great to have you with us. And everyone watching on Replay Squad, salute, guys. What are your thoughts? Good evening, Delmar. And Jay says, salute, we are complete. And Danny says we signed Precious for the 1 year, $6 million. So, yeah, we'll start at the top, guys, as this story just broke. But basically, the Knicks could exceed their cap to sign Precious. Money had been drying up for other teams, and as every passing day went by, it was more of a formality, I think, because he wasn't going to get that kind of deal with another team, most likely. So $6 million, it's a good deal for Precious, great deal for the New York Knicks. We could still make moves later down the season in terms of signing and trading him later if needed. But obviously, you know, a lot of us are happy that Precious is here now. He's most likely going to factor in for most of the season, if not all of the season. It's on a 1-year deal, so I think that is the reason that it opens the door for, you know, potentially some you know, moves down the future. But how valuable was Precious Achiuwa for us this season, right? He stepped up in a major way, and he deserves to be saluted. And I'm glad he's coming back, right, from the area. And he fit in the culture. I think defensively, you know, he got better as the season went along. You know, Game 6 and Game 7, we did have to rely on him probably a little bit more than ideal with, you know, with all the bodies going down and all of that. But, you know, he knows, you know, we know, and he's proven that he can step in, you know, and be a huge piece, whether it be off the bench or, you know, starting in a pinch as well. We know the situation with Mitch's, you know, injury history in the past. He's going to be coming in as the starting center. And obviously right now, the backup is Precious Achiuwa. And I'm okay with that because we've obviously got Jericho Sims. We've seen what Huck Porty and Skapensev has shown us in Summer League as well. But the first $1 million question is, do we need to sign another center, right? It's up for your opinion. I would love to get your shout out on that. Now that we've signed Precious, do the New York Knicks need to add another big? Because it looks like the Knicks may not. And I'll tell you why. Because of the reason I said before, Precious can't be traded now until the December. You know, new signings can't be traded. And if they were planning to do a sign and trade with Precious, they wouldn't have announced this already. So he's announced he's coming back. This is officially announced by the New York Knicks as well, not just by Woj. So the Knicks PR has put out that statement. So Precious is back. Coach Kerry, what's up? Jay says defense, rebounds, rim protection. Yeah, we needed it. And this is a huge signing. And just my grade initially, I'm going to give it an A because of the need. And Precious, fills a void that this roster really had. Is it the final piece of the puzzle? I think for now, right? I'm prepared to say that. Nobody knows what the future holds, guys. But from what I'm reading I feel like it could be the final piece of this off-season for now. And what I mean by that is maybe they're prepared to run it into camp, into the season, and maybe see what things look like in December as well. If we're steamrolling teams and Mitch is healthy and all of that, it gives them a little bit more, leverage in negotiations, right? And another reason I've given it an A is because Leon Rose didn't need to, so far, he didn't need to give up assets, right, for a marginal fit, and in terms of different names. Some of you still may want the Knicks to go out and get one of those names, whether it's Nick Richards, Walker Kessler, which is very unlikely now because, of the demands from Danny Ainge. But Leon Rose is working within the confines of what is possible, realistic. Precious Achiuwa can be that backup. He's a little undersized, but we're stacked on the wing, on the perimeter, and all of that. And coach, great question. Where does it put our center ambitions right now? Well, I think it basically gives us a little bit more assurance. I think that's step one, where we don't have to get desperate and swing a big deal for a center and giving up too many assets, because teams know we badly need a center. So when teams know you badly need something, that's where they're likely to drive a hard, asking price. So I think what the Knicks have done now is, assured Precious Achiuwa is coming back. Right, he assumes the backup center situation for me. Keita Bates-Diop and Josh Hart can easily fill backup 4 duties, as well as Randle and OG can play 4 minutes off the bench with the bench unit as well. So I think Precious assumes the backup center position for right now, and then you've got Jericho, which is still he's proven he can be a handy third string, needing to step in if needed. But for now, guys, I don't think this will be the roster that finishes the season, and I don't think that's a hot take. But I think what Leon Rose is doing is just like, okay, we've got to get Precious back, and we'll see what happens. We'll run it into the season. Maybe December we figure out the weaknesses. We figure out maybe the big center market opens up, and all of those things. But for right now, I'm going to grade it an A. You guys let me know what you think of this deal to bring Precious back. It's a 1-year deal. He can't be signed and traded now until December. So basically coming back. And with that said, I think we are in a great position roster-wise. Yes, it's not perfect. Ideally, we'd prefer some more size. But like I said, I'd rather do this than give up Deuce or give up, multiple first-round picks. Where I would have liked the Knicks, and maybe they already did this as well, they probably did all the due diligence and just figured out there's no one really that's a huge upgrade over Precious. So maybe they did talk to a lot of teams and just thought, you know what, we're going to give up Sims, we're going to give up Rokas and picks just to bring in Nick Richards or someone who they might not feel is a big enough upgrade. Then maybe they thought, wait, let's just do this. But yeah, we still have the vet minimums as well, guys, and we still have the $5.2 million exception, although no real free agent out there is worth $5.2 million. Veterans minimum, absolutely, and we'll talk about that tonight as well. I'm going to bring up the free agent list as well. A salute to Luke C. Mid-season trade, depending on Sims's growth. Great comment, because I think it allows you, it buys you more time. You can figure things out in the season, and see what it looks like. You got Hakpority, you got Skapinsev, possibly coming into training camp. I would assume that that's very likely. But you got Precious now, which is experience, worked with Tibbs, went through the playoff battles with the New York Knicks as well. What's up, Joe? Says Precious fits our defense. He plays with grit. That's why I really like the move as well. You know, it's not a big surprise. You know, we were expecting Precious to either return or be signed and traded. But the fact that he's staying, I think that was leaning more towards that happening. And yeah, Leon Rose definitely spent the last weeks doing due diligence. And like I said, if there wasn't a better offer out there or deal, you know, and it's going to sap you of assets, why do it? You know what I mean? It ain't like it's going to be the difference between us, you know, finishing second and sixth, in my opinion. You know, the big man depth is an issue. But right now, Mitch is healthy, right? Everyone's assuming that Mitch is going to be injured or go down, but the season hasn't even started yet. So I think our bench is really, really stacked as well. Salute Prezi, Jay, and everyone in the chat rocking out with us. Salute Raymond. Love the final move, says Raymond. Been a fan, OG fan since '67. Salute, man. It is a great pickup. Well, a throw in the pressure in the OG Anunoby trade as well. But now it's paying more dividends because, you know, as we get close to getting hard capped, and all these aprons and all of that, etc., etc. You know, it helps that we had a guy that we could keep now for $6 million. It means a lot, guys. I don't know. Some people might gloss over this move, but we lose Isaiah Hartenstein. That was a big blow. $30 million. That offer blew us. You know, he couldn't turn that down. But to keep Precious Achiuwa, who was a part of that trade, and to get him to return for $6 million, makes the OG trade even better, in my opinion. So, D Cool Graves it a B, Delmar definitely an A, and D Cool says they could have given him at least a 2-year deal. So, to that point, there is probably a reason why they've given Precious a 1-year deal. It's expiring salary, and according to Fred Katz as well, he's waived any veto. So I'll bring that up on the screen right now. You could see, according to Fred Katz, Precious Achiuwa has waived his bird veto, a league source says. So normally a player of Achiuwa's type who re-signs on a 1-year deal receives the right to veto any deal. But since Precious waived this, he can be traded without the ability to veto a deal. So that opens up the door for a Precious Achiuwa trade, possibly later in the season, if the Knicks, you know, need to do so or want to do so. That doesn't mean it's going to happen. It just gives them options, and it gives them flexibility now. So probably the reason why they gave it a 1-year deal is because it's going to be more enticing for teams, I think, to receive him on a 1-year expiring. And it opens up your options to trade him. Because remember, a lot of teams around the league are hard capped now at a certain apron, which limits the amount of salary and amount of players specifically that they can take back in a trade. So we're not only now operating under our own books, you know, and being careful there, but we've also got to make sure that these contracts we give out are more trade friendly for other teams that are capped at these aprons as well. So, man, the Knicks front office is really doing a lot of work, dotting a lot of I's and crossing a lot of T's to make sure that they're set for the future and set up really, really well. Absolutely, too. I've talked about this, but Jay says Leon loves December trades. Definitely. Janol says we need a center that can battle against Embiid, Porzingis, and Wemby. Anyone under 7 feet is a waste of time. Yeah, definitely there's people that feel the same way as you and will agree with you. I'm impartial because I think this ain't the final roster right now. I just think, we're making sure that we've got Precious with us as insurance and a backup. But I think Leon Rose's aim is to still address, a long-term piece, because, a lot of us feel like Mitchell Robinson, he's still a relatively young player. But after losing Isaiah, you definitely need to assure that big man spot for the future. Is Precious Achiuwa the long-term future at the center? No. So yeah, to your point, I do think Leon Rose is going to continue to look at that. I just think for right now, free agency was dying down. Other teams probably weren't willing to do any trades right now. Remember, it's not only what you want to do, you've got to rely on other teams wanting to trade pieces with you. Maybe Detroit just didn't want to trade Jalen Duren now for the right price. Maybe Charlotte didn't want to move Nick Richards right now, or the asking price was too high. So I like what the Knicks did, got to get Precious back, and he was a big piece for us in the season. And definitely his chemistry with the teammates is going to be important too. And we look at some of the highlights too. But the roster now is, closer to being settled, in my opinion now. The one more body I would expect to come in, whether that is Skapensev, maybe they're going to plan to sign him. How would you feel if the Knicks did get Skapensev as well as a 7-footer, more insurance? Let me know. Are there a player out there that you would still love the New York Knicks to get? Let me know as well. But for me, this is basically just the New York Knicks, doing what was necessary, and they did it, which I'm happy about. Precious returning. Who's the backup for? I'm going to say it's probably Josh Hart initially. It's probably a 9-man rotation with Keita Bates-Diop, the 10th man now. One of my hopes this season is that Tibbs does play 10 men on certain nights, maybe back-to-backs, ease guys minutes early. It's a marathon, the regular season, and we're going to make sure that especially Mitchell Robinson is healthy. He is, arguably one of the most important players in the starting five is Mitch, because with Precious backing him up, it's a solid option. But it's not for 25 to 30 minutes, in my opinion. 15 to 20, you can get by. And great options off the bench. The options in depth become huge after this re-signing. Nicely done. Yep. Kerry says, so our 3 two-ways are Ariel, Skapensev and Pacome is on the team already. So we've only got 2 two-ways at the moment, and that's Jake Toppin and Ariel Hakporidi, right? There's still a third two-way available, which I would like us to give to Skapensev. McCullough, I think what I heard is they're waiting on his rehabilitation of his knee injury, and they're going to decide what contract to give him, whether that is a two-way. Maybe it is just a G League contract. Maybe it is a real roster spot. But the hold-up for Kevin McCullough is his rehabilitation with his injury. Signing a player with a current injury is unnecessary. You wait to see how serious the injury is going to be, and then you put pen to paper. But I expect him to still get signed one way or the other. What's up? Guys, you're rocking with the best chat in the biz, Knicks Buzz. And great to be chopping this big move up with you all. Smash that like button, and I will shout you guys out like we do. Sharp Power said, didn't see this coming. Knicks always moving in silence. Yeah, no doubt Leon Rose left no stone unturned. Like I said, he was talking to teams. There was interest in a lot of names, but familiar face returns as well. I'm glad. I'm happy Precious is back. Michael Drake, Precious is back. 1-year deal, $6 million. Good deal for him as well. He gets a nice payday. Let's not forget Tyus Jones had to settle for $3.2 million, well below the market value for that. So, $6 million deal for Precious after doing what he did with the Knicks. I think it was a great showcase as well. Remember, you come to the Knicks, You play hard, you play with grit, you also get to showcase yourself, and most people do get a pay rise playing with the New York Knicks because of their market value goes up. You know, the stage, the spotlight, the mecca as well. Like I said, if you play hard, it just highlights your strengths as well. And us, as the best fans in the business, do learn to, we do show our appreciation for all guys, role players, end of the bench guys, G League guys as well. We show so much love to our guys, but Precious is one of those guys that really repaid our loyalty and our faith as well. The way he stepped up, we don't earn the second seed without Precious Achiuwa. So don't underrate his heart, his defense, and his effort and energy that he can provide this club as well. He's still a relatively young player. I think he can still get better in the league. I don't think he's gonna turn into an all-star or take a huge leap, but he's still young enough. I believe he's 26. I think Precious is still young enough to develop in other areas in terms of consistency. Become a better defender in terms of playing 4s and 5s, drop coverage, all of those things. But his mobility, his ball handling ability is big. He can pass the ball as well. So, could he be another breakout player with Isaiah gone now? Let's not discount the fact that Precious getting more minutes, potentially if a Mitch minutes get split or Mitch misses any time, there is a huge possibility in which, Precious Achiuwa might get a lot more minutes than anticipated and then take his game to another level. But yeah, Mark Bryant is definitely going to be someone, Kerry, that works with these guys, and I do think that we're okay for now. I really think we're running into the season with how we are. Maybe we sign one more veteran minimum. Maybe it's Skapensev. So yeah, as I talked about Joe, the two current two-way players, Jake Toppin, who was extended a qualifying offer. He hasn't actually officially accepted it yet, according to what I know. So that has to be announced still. But he still currently holds one of those two-way spots, and Ariel Hukpority, the Knicks' 58th draft pick, is on the other two-way. So there's one more two-way available, and we're still waiting to see who's going to take that. Kay Walden says, I love it. Precious is the perfect backup for Julius and for Mitch. Yeah, he can really show what he can do. And he did, in stints last season. So bringing him back was a great move. In terms of the shooting, if that's an area that does grow significantly, even just the mid-range, I think that gives us a whole different look. Rim protection, we know, is not ideal because he is 6'9", but he is a great help defender. He can definitely get those blocks, I think, from the help side and all of that. But yeah, right now, I think the Knicks, don't discount the fact that the Knicks do like Sims. They do like Hukpority. Right? A lot of fans are ready to discount some of those end of the bench guys, but the Knicks are in the facility with these guys every day, so the coaches see what they can do. I think those guys as third and fourth string guys are certainly fine. Precious will be the primary backup right now, but the Knicks do have a lot of size in other areas with Julius, OG, Bridges. Aside from the center position behind Mitch, we do have a lot of positional size right now, an elite wing defense on those perimeters. So that's big. Donald says, let's not confuse the happiness of Precious being back versus the relief of Precious being back. But I believe New York for sure are satisfied and confident on this move. Yep. Definitely we kick the tires on a lot of deals, but like I said, leverage is everything in this game, right? When every single team around the league knew the Knicks were desperate for a center, making sure that you just keep Precious as a backup that can play the 5, right? that takes the pressure off. Like you said, relief. I think it opens the door for us to do future moves as well. He's only on a 1-year deal. It can be traded in December as well. But right now, it's a move that needed to be done because free agency is basically over now, coming to an end, the bulk of it, and we're coming into August, right? After August is September, and that's when training camp, end of September, training camp begins. So making sure that we do have that insurance was so necessary as well. And yeah, like Kay said, Precious can be ascending. He's young enough as well. His game actually went to another level when he did come to the Knicks as well. Salute Ed. What's up? Nothing on Skapinsev. The Knicks, I'm assuming, will bring him into training camp, Exhibit 10 deal, and another body to see. Raymond says develop Sims. He's a good young talent. Dorkasaurus says, I'm so happy we get Scap in there and we good right now. So let's see. We've got Nets trolls up in here as well. There's no Nets buzz, so some of these people have to join us. Just keep it respectful in the chat. Jay Will says Precious played Embiid better than Hartenstein, who y'all love. So Hartenstein had struggles against Embiid, and we've certainly got different options now with OG, who played him really well. We've got Mitch, and we've got Precious as well. We've got some really good options. Another strength of Precious, guys, is he can switch out on the perimeter as well. He's more mobile. Do we play a little bit more small ball? Do we play faster with this bench unit as well? Precious Achiuwa was fairly durable. Well, he didn't really miss much time with us, if any, when we needed him. So that is a big factor as well. Salute Chris, salute Paula. What's up? Chris Connors says Robinson, Sims, Achiuwa, and if need be, Skapinsev. Don't leave out my man Ariel Hukporty. Man, Ariel Hukporty is ahead of Skapinsev in terms of he's got a contract. I love people's enthusiasm for Skapinsev, but he's not actually on a deal yet. Ariel Hukporty was the 58th pick. The organization really like him and scouted him and gave him a deal as well. So I've seen Ariel Hukporty more than others. I've given my opinions, but I'm not going to go over the top. But yeah, just keep an eye out for Ariel Hukporty as the season goes by and in the future, because he is one for the future as well. They drafted him, and I think they plan to develop him as well. Jericho Sims could well be the case as well, but he's on the final year of his contract as well. So if you're one of those people that do read between the lines in terms of contracts and the Knicks being in a tough financial situation, then you could look at this is a big make or break year for Jericho Sims. Final year of his contract. Was Ariel Hukporty, is an older rookie, but the Knicks will have cost control of Ariel Hukporty moving forward as well. The Knicks like his rebounding, and we'll see how that plays out too. We've got a very strong second unit, Jay. Absolutely strong. These guys show more improvement as well, but back to my power rankings. That's why I've got the New York Knicks number 2. I've had a lot of debates with certain people's opinions on it. Some Knicks fans, some not. But yeah, I think power rankings are different. They're not standings, projections. They're not predictions yet. They're just July. Where would you rank all of the teams? And I've got the Knicks in second because I think we had the best off-season. And I think, like what you said, you look at our bench unit, like I said last night to James Barlow, you got Dante DiVincenzo and you got Josh Hart coming off your bench, right? That's an insane level of bench talent because those two guys could start on, I think, up to 28 to 30 NBA teams, in my opinion, right? And like I did with James yesterday, you could look at, just pick any random team, any team you want. Denver, right? They won the championship 2 years ago. They lost KCP. If they had Josh Hart or Dante DiVincenzo, they could start. They would start on the Denver Nuggets. If Dante DiVincenzo was on Milwaukee, he'd be starting for them. Make no mistake about it. If Dante DiVincenzo was back on the Golden State Warriors, he'd be starting for them right now. If he was on the Miami Heat, he'd be starting. So, you get my drift, man. We could go back and forth on it. But the New York Knicks have him, and they have Josh Hart coming off our bench right now. And look, Deuce McBride has proven he could be a very capable starter as well. So salute. But as I said at the top of the show, great to get Precious back now. What lies ahead? What does it mean moving forward? I think the Knicks will still be looking for future center big man insurance. Right? We do have a veterans minimum for now, and we do have $5.2 million. Right? Are there any worthwhile free agents available? Right? Not for the $5.2 million. Right? But if you like Omer Yurtseven, if you like Bismack Biyombo, those could be guys worthy of bringing in just as a veterans minimum. But if you're the Knicks and you like Skapensev, Sims, and Hakpority, then you're probably not going to do that. Why bring in an older, aging head, to potentially, block the pathway of a young guy growing and developing? So, Sims is still only 26. Hakpority's 22, Skapensev is 26 as well. So, bring in like a Bismack Biyombo or, a Yurtseven. Yeah, there's an argument because they've got more NBA experience. They've got, they might have playoff experience, and we're trying to win a championship. But you've also then maybe creating a little logjam where, what's the point in paying Sims and Hakpority and Skapensev maybe if they're not, not even third string. So it's interesting. I certainly don't think we've heard the last of this center situation, but for now, we're good. I think for now, coming into the season, I'm okay with, and I think the New York Knicks would be okay running it into the season. But that doesn't mean we're not going to be looking for that move, come the trade deadline, I think. So Georgie says, salute, we finally re-signed Precious. Salute. Health, happiness, blessings to our guy Jay Boogie. You got us all buzzing, fam. I heard you're going to be dropping some new tracks as well, and we're going to be talking about it soon. Fam, can't wait for this season to begin. I can't wait for it to start, man. I want opening night to start right now. Dorkasaurus says Hakpority and Precious together would be amazing, in my opinion. Yeah, I agree with you. I think a lot of us, like what we saw with Scappy. Kerry also. Can Scappy earn a two-way spot? We'll see what happens in camp. Jason M says they may be saving the two-way to see if Kevin McCullough can be ready by camp. Yep. You hit the money on that one. I agree. I think that the final spot is for him. Assuming the injury isn't going to take him out of a whole season, and it's not like a season-ending injury, I think they'll save that final two-way for McCullough. But the Knicks can officially add one more main roster spot now, assuming there's no more trades. But there could still be a trade. But for those of you that don't know, Precious can't be traded now until December. But that doesn't mean Sims can't be traded. That doesn't mean McCullough can't be signed and traded. That doesn't mean Rokas or some draft picks can't be traded as well. So I just think that's more unlikely now. Like I said, we're almost in August. A lot of other teams are finalizing their roster right now already, and I don't see a move that's quite major. Likely, whether that is a Kessler or Nick Richards, Jalen Duren. I think this signing today puts to bed that any of those, larger trades for a big man are going to happen now. I think that is going to happen maybe into the season. Yep. Appreciate you, G-Man. Welcome in. Like Nelson said, we've got 13 guys on the roster right now. 14. 14 basically with Precious returning now. And we still got one more spot we can officially add. So yeah, Precious is a fill-in makeshift center. He's not a traditional center. Understand the concerns over the size. Not ideal. But you've also got to look at the way the NBA is going, man. How many bruising, huge, major, big backup centers are there that are going to punish you? I'm talking about backups. If Mitch goes down or misses time, that's where definitely the worry starts to come in. But as of right now, Precious Achiuwa as a backup center off the bench, I don't think a team's going to come in and with a backup center and really punish you. I think it's it's serviceable, and I think the Knicks feel the same way. But you've also got the size of Sims, Hakpority if you need as well. So yeah, I do think the Knicks feel like they feel comfortable as well. But look, every fan has a certain opinion on it as well. Love to get your opinions and shout it out. Remember to smash that like button. We've all got the Knicks streets buzzing, right? Is this the final piece of this off-season's puzzle? I think it's more than likely now, barring a more minor move, another veterans minimum. Maybe it's Ryan Arcidiacono, something like that, I'll be really surprised if we do something more than that, but there is some still solid free agents out there. So let me get through the list of free agents, best available free agents that Keith Smith put out there. I'm going to bring it up on the screen so you guys can see. So if the Knicks wanted to spend the $5.2 million exception, there are some intriguing names still available, although not their big men. So point guards, we're pretty good in that area. Don't need any of these guys. But Markelle Fultz is the top name still out there. Shooting guards, we've got Justin Holiday, Landry Shamet, Lonnie Walker, and Luke Kennard. So I think we're pretty good with bench shooting as well. But hey, Josh Hart, Dante DiVincenzo, and Deuce McBride are going to be the three main guys off our bench. You can never have enough scoring. Let me know if any of these names would interest you for the $5.2 million. Then you got Dougie McBuckets, Isaac Okoro's restricted, Gordon Hayward, Shetty Osman as well. Obviously, Precious Achiuwa's off the board now. We've got Jay Crowder, Davos Bertans, Mook Morris, JT Thor as well, who's actually balling out in the Olympics for South Sudan. Shout out. Had a great game. JT Thor offers a bit of size as a power forward. Not worth the $5.2 million though. Veterans minimum. And then the centers available, slim pickings, guys. Omer Yurtseven, Bismack Biyombo, Tristan Thompson, Damian Jones, and JaVale McGee. So yeah, that's why I feel like the New York Knicks won't be, making any of those major signings with the $5.2 million, because none of those bigs are better than Precious, I think. So we literally got the best free agent available that was left. So that's why I've given this grade an A as well. Leave out the fact that he was already on our team, but he was a free agent. Anyone could have picked Precious up, and we brought him back. So that is a big enough move for me to give it an A. It was a big need for the New York Knicks, and now we went from a more urgent situation at the big man to, I think now we're a little bit more comfortable for now, and we're ready for the season to start, in my opinion. DN says Precious can defend nearly all 5 positions. Yeah, he's a utility. Really like the way that he played, but yeah, he definitely took his game to another level with the Knicks, and look forward to see what else he can do coming up. But yeah, that is the free agent list. Let us know if there's any names out there that interest you. For me, outside of maybe those shooting guards or maybe Mook Morris as a power forward, nothing really intrigues me. And I think the New York Knicks are comfortable with what we've got, right? Precious is a big piece. We know Tibbs likes him as well. Jason says Precious literally played the backup centre for the Knicks before Mitch came back and was decent. He was way better at centre than power forward. Yeah, he did struggle against Siakam a little bit playing the 4 as well. So basically it puts us in a better position in terms of leverage and negotiating now. Now we can negotiate a big man deal in December. That's only a few months into the season. So for all of those people that wanted us to really get Walker Kessler or Jalen Duren, I don't know what else to say, but it's unfortunate if you did want us to swing one of those bigger deals, but that's not to say that it can't happen later. December will open up a whole world of possibilities because other teams will have needs. I've talked about maybe one of the reasons why the campaign move was so nice was, hey, maybe a team loses a point guard throughout the season and they badly need campaign. They're able to offer us a really nice big man, and we can work something out. Maybe a team is just willing to move on from a big man to get Rokas. And we just trade Rokas' rights at some point. We could look at that as well. So the Knicks still have a lot of flexibility, but getting Precious back was a necessity. Although it's not ideal, I agree. I've never said, and I will never say, that having Precious at the 5 is an ideal solution. But for right now, where we're at, it's a really good option than not having him at all. Right. Yesterday, that spot was blank. Today, it's filled with Precious Achiuwa now. And then Sims rightfully back into his third string situation, I think, which still has the ability to come in and be the backup for minutes as well if there's another injury or something like that. But our bench unit is absolutely loaded. And I do think that the New York Knicks are in the second in terms of power rankings because of the depth of our roster as well. If you just want to go off games last season, right? We reached Game 7 of the second round, right? So the Oklahoma Thunder were a second round out as well. They didn't make it to a Game 7. So the Knicks were closer to making it to the conference finals than Oklahoma were as well. We added Mikal Bridges, a full season of OG Anunoby, full season of Julius Randle returning, has 2 All-Stars on their team. A lot of these teams on the screen don't have 2 All-Stars. So absolutely things can change, but this is my July power rankings, and I got the New York Knicks up in second as well. I think we're the deepest team outside of Boston, right? And we're coming, but we do need to win a championship because things are set up for us to compete now. Obviously, you need everything. You need luck. You need a good regular season, injury-free. You need a nice run through the playoffs as well. None of that, Joel Embiid, injuring our guys and all those hurdles that you got to overcome. But right now, man, the window is wide open for the New York Knicks. I'm so excited for this season to start, right? There's very few holes or flaws in this roster at all, if any. And if you do pick some, it's mostly the big man, maybe the backup 4 situation, but there's so many solutions to that as well. We talked about it, but the point guard situation, it's the best in my lifetime in terms of depth. Outside of course, the championship backcourts. But after that, this is the best Knicks point guard situation since I've been a fan. Let me know what you guys think. Greetings, Richard. What's up? Susan's in the building. Tibbs will definitely be changing some of his coaching decisions, says Susan. Any specifics? Let us know. Do you think minutes? Do you think definitely with plays, all of that? Yeah, Jay, absolutely. Hart would start on most teams as well. Great point. With that, the chat's a little delayed on my end, guys, so I'm going to get to your comments as well. If there's a question, let me know what you think. and we're real good right now. Tibbs is going to have the flexibility to be creative with his rotations. Let's hope that he does. Yeah, I think he will, Jay. I think he likes different guys. Keita Bates-Diop, Tibbs drafted. He's really willing to play Sims. He's willing to play Precious. I think we could go bigger. We could go small. We could play double point guard lineups if Deuce McBride's at the 2. You got Kolek and Campaign, 3rd and 4th string point guards, or 2nd and 3rd, whichever way you look at it, if Deuce is off ball. I guess one of my other worries outside of the center situation is I don't want Hart to be a full-time 4. I want to preserve him. He's reaching 30 now. He's spoken on the record. He's happy to play whatever role he needs, but he would prefer not to be at the 4, and I agree. I think getting, whether you play Randle with the bench lineups or OG, I think there is solutions, though, for that. Too. So we're absolutely hyped. The Knicks can still make more moves. This could be the final piece of the off-season, or final major piece. I can see that. But I do think that the Knicks still have other options. So, basically this is my depth chart right now. And yeah, you could definitely play it out in different lineups and different rotations. This is just speculatory. You could put Keita Bates-Diop down to the 3rd string and move Hart to the 4. Insert Kolek or Campaign next to Deuce. You could swap Jericho Sims to the backup center and put Precious at the backup 4. You could do it, different ways. I mean, they're all ball players, man. The way the NBA game is going, it's more positionless, fam. I know a lot of us are older heads. We stick to our positions and that, but I mean, the game is changing, guys, especially off the bench, right? If you ask most coaches in the NBA, they want 4 to 5 guys off their bench that just run, right? It don't matter if they're 6'4", 6'8", 6'10". You just need to be able to run. A lot of bigs can shoot now. You guys already know. But let me know your thoughts on this grade, right? Are you happy today that the Knicks have finally resolved the situation with Precious Achiuwa's free agency, and he is now officially back with the New York Knicks on a 1-year deal, right? He can be traded, right? He waived his ability to veto any future trade now that he's on this 1-year deal, right? For those that are unsure, normally it would create a no trade clause, right, with his rights, signing only a 1-year deal, but he's waived that. So he's happy to take the $6 million, but he's happy to give the Knicks flexibility if we want to trade him, later in the future, which is really solid act. Appreciate you, Jay Boogie. Appreciate you. Can't wait for the season to begin, man. It's going to be buzzing. Donald says the Precious re-signing is a deeper move than we think. Deeper than a lot of people think. I agree. They definitely got the flexibility now to make more moves, but we're coming. Jimbo, salute, appreciate you. It's early in the morning, so yeah, that's why my voice is a little bit coarse. I apologize, but I'm well. I'm not unwell, thankfully. But yeah, it's just very, very early in the morning where I'm at, so it's a great start to the day for me. Hopefully you guys have also had a blessed day as well, wherever you're at. But yeah, to start the day with this news, it's really, really good. Dirty Dancers in the building with us. Got to spend that taxpayer mid-level. Might need that extra salary in December. So that is a nice point where if the Knicks do want more tradable assets, they could still use that taxpayer mid-level. I'm just looking at it from like a piece perspective on the roster, and could anyone really help us? But I could see a shooter like Luke Kennard, being a commodity at the trade deadline. Maybe we should use that on him. that is a nice option too. I do think Skapinsev will be given an opportunity, guys. I really do think he'll be given an opportunity off the Exhibit 10 deal to maybe impress in training camp and see what can be done with that. But look, the Knicks are batting 4 deep in terms of the big man situation now, which isn't a bad situation to be in. It's not ideal with Precious being a primary backup center out of position, or out of his natural position, but he's shown that he can play that position to a solid level. And then you've got Sims and you've got Hukpority, who could, see what they look like in camp and battle it out for potential minutes as well. Don't discount the fact that Tibbs might want to play Randle or OG at the 5 a little bit, whether it's 5 minutes a night, 7 minutes a night. There's a lot of different options we can play with now too. But I like Precious's durability too. If he can improve on his offense and the jump shot, that'd be really, really good. Johnny's with us, says Precious signing leads to Precious trading. Maybe some point at the trade deadline, we might see that. I think he's going to be starting the season now. Yeah, we could beat anyone when we're healthy, Jay. Definitely. CC, salute. Welcome in. Good signing, says CC. And salute to Richard. Knicks bench would be a fringe playoff team on its own. I think it's very competitive. But the best thing is you can sprinkle in 1 or 2 starters with the bench as well, which is why I don't think Hart will be playing a lot of 4. You got OG and you got Randle that can both play the 4 off with the bench as well. And you've got Keita, Bates-Diop as well. And you can also put Precious at the 4 if Sims takes a big leap, or Hukpority or Scap or whoever now as well. So does this move today fill all the holes? No. But does it plug the most major hole? Absolutely now, which is a good day. Great signing. Anyone would you like to see us offer, the mid-level on? DN says A+. CC gives it an A. Yep, agree with you guys. And I gave it an A as well. There's a whole tree branch of moves. Obviously, we traded RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickly. We got Malachi Flynn. We got OG, and we got Precious out of that deal. And the fact that Precious is staying now with OG, that enhances the legacy of that move and that trade as well, even more. So, what a way it's worked out for the New York Knicks to get Precious in that deal. And now he's a keeper for the minute, which is important because he can play multiple positions. He can play 4 and he can play 5 as well. Not ideal at the 5, but he can do it. So a lot of people think he's going to stay as well. Salute. Georgie's asking, CT, I don't know if you've heard, but Tyler is officially the 2nd string point guard. And Payne is the 3rd string. Look it up. They were talking about that, and I'm happy for the kid. I want to see what he can do for us. Yep, I talked about it in the past. So yeah, if you are alluding to the depth chart I've got, then it could definitely be altered. Whether Kolek is the primary backup or not, or 3rd string ahead of Payne. I'm going to wait for training camp. But yeah, I'm happy if he gets that opportunity. I think he's ready for it. I think he'll take it. Defensively, there'll be some struggles, but playmaking-wise, on another level. And the shot looked pretty solid in Summer League as well. So we're talking about Precious ACHIUWA's big re-signing with the best chat in the biz. Smash that like button and salute to Replay Squad. Appreciate you guys joining us, man. Knicks family worldwide. Joey's in the building, New York all day. Welcome in. The Knicks still have options. Yeah, I like some of the names that Dirty Dancer said. Maybe you would offer it to Luke Kennard or Gordon Hayward, even with no role clear. May as well get the best players available as movable salary in the case of injuries. Yeah, and I do think the 5.2 million is a nice number where, even teams that are in tough situations can absorb. Um, I think maybe Markel Fultz, although he would be very tradable. Although we have so many point guards. Who else was there? There was Lonnie Walker as well. Landry Shamet, who I don't think has found a home yet, which is quite unbelievable that Landry Shamet hasn't even found a home. Um, but yeah, Kevin McCullough on the two-way with Huck Porty makes our roster extremely deep because I think both of those guys could prove to be NBA ready very early. And those guys are going to be on the two-way as well. So if we do have to swing a bigger trade throughout the season, they might be ready to step up to a bigger contract as we go down the line. But final year of the deal for Jericho Sims. Campaign's only on a 1-year deal as well. So you might want to flip him at the deadline for an asset. Maybe another big man. If Kolek has looked ready. If Kolek doesn't look ready, then you definitely keep Campaign. But it gives you options, which is what we're here for, guys. So salute. Obviously, a lot of talk about Julius Randle and the contract now in August. I'm still on the side where I think Julius stays. I think Julius inks a new deal with the New York Knicks. Leon Rose, Brock Aller in the front office. They've been getting everyone to put pen to paper, and I definitely think they've got it in them to get that extension done for Julius at the right number. Happy for both sides. Julius will get security. I think the Knicks will get the number that they want. That's probably next. That's next on the dial. I think for Julius Randle to then sign his deal. We are almost in August right now, days away, and Julius Randle will be extension eligible. Right, Tibbs has got his deal. OG got his deal. Jalen Brunson got his as well. Julius Randle, man, how good would it be to start the season if that is sorted out and done, and we enter the season with everyone under contract for the long term, for the most part, with the big pieces, right? Mitch has still got 2 years on his deal. Deuce McBride still got 2 or 3 years left as well. Same with DiVincenzo and Hart. We are building this window of a potential dynasty, but you got to win the first championship first. And I think we are scary good for this season coming in. And yeah, I definitely think we could see a letdown from Boston, right? After you win one championship, I think people are lying to themselves if they don't believe in that letdown after winning a championship, right? The hangover is real. Look at Denver. They weren't able to go back to back. It's super difficult. It's super difficult with all of that. So yeah, that's my prediction next, guys. I think a Julius extension will get done. Let me know what you guys think. Susan says, don't sleep on the Grizzlies. I think Ja Morant coming back is definitely a big factor in that. The West is going to be ridiculous, really. It's so tough to predict. The East is a bit more predictable. Joey says, I'm happy we re-signed Precious. Absolutely, man. I'm happy too. And I'm glad that he was able to get that deal. $6 million, 1-year deal as well. Really flexible for us too. If he balls out, we can keep him. If there's other injuries or we really need to solidify that spot, we can do that in December. As Jay said earlier, Leon loves a December trade. He loves an earlier trade too. So don't forget about that too. So I've given the grade an A. Let us know in the comment section or chat what you think about this move. On it, just at face value, is Precious Achiuwa an A-level talent? No. But the move to come back under the circumstances and the need, I give it an A for that. Also, this season, I think we're highest in the power rankings than we've been for a long, long time. According to most outlets, got us in the top 4 mostly. I think it was only The Athletic that had us 6th, but ESPN, CBS, and the New York Post has us top 4. I've got us top 2. Now Cleveland have made some, not many moves, but obviously a nice move for Phoenix, getting Tyus Jones, man, on the veterans minimum. Incredible value. They picked up Ryan Dunn, I think, so they got better. Milwaukee, I think, will slide a little bit. They didn't really improve in the draft, but they did well to what they could do, which is getting Gary Trent on the vets min. They also, were able to make some other minor moves as well. Orlando spent all of their money, but didn't really make too many moves outside of KCP. New Orleans, it's all going to be how they integrate DeJounte Murray, man. They had to part with Dyson Daniels, who had a really good game in the Olympics last night. He's a really big young piece to give up. But yeah, it's all go time for New Orleans with DeJounte Murray. Sacramento brought back DeMar DeRozan, so they should be better as well. But it's super stacked right now. And you look, Dallas, of course, made some big moves as well. DN says Dallas or the Thunder are coming out of the West. Yeah, I agree. Minnesota might have a great chance, but Denver, I think their window has passed, man. It just goes to show that, yeah, a lot of these guys can be one and done. It's tough now with the salary cap. And that's why Jalen Brunson and these guys did what they did contractually. Jay gives it an A. Salute. Knicks 25-26 champs back-to-back. Says Knicks going 66 wins, 16 if healthy. I like the if healthy part, man. We need health, finally. Hopefully we get blessed with the basketball gods this season. But if we don't, for some other reason, Leon Rose has got insurance policies. He's got insurance policies. He knows now. I think last season one of my peeves was that we weren't deep enough in the third string. And I think we've done well to address that. I mean, you look at whether it is Kolek, Payne there, Jericho Sims, maybe McCullough, Huck Pority, third string. I think it is stronger than last year's third string. Second string, just as deep, possibly slightly deeper as well, with Deuce returning, more experience. Keita Bates-Diop could be a serviceable rotation piece as well. We lose, obviously, Bojan Bogdanovic as well. We salute to him and what he did. That was just a cup of coffee. But that salary was really needed to get the Mikal Bridges deal done as well. So you can't argue with that. We lose Bogdanovic, but you basically get Mikal Bridges as well. But I'm saving my evaluations on Keita Bates-Diop because I've spoken to people where it's like, yeah, this might just be more salty Nets fans or Timberwolves fans, but a lot of people are like, all right, just wait to see. He has been inconsistent, but I think the talent is there. I think the shooting is something that, for 1 year with the Spurs, 2 years back, it was 39% from three. Last year it regressed back to 33%, I think. But that has me really curious as to why with the San Antonio Spurs he had a career year from three. He had 39%, and then it dropped back down to 32, 33. Could it just be the bad Nets situation? He's 28 years of, he's 28 now as well. So I kind of think he is what he is, but hopefully he can find some consistency with us. So David says, I was really hoping for that rumored Precious for Looney trade. I like that we brought back Precious though. Yep. Yeah, I think it wasn't the number one option, and I think that's why it took this long. That's no shade on Precious, but I do think most people understand now that the Knicks had spent this last month trying to, to find a suitable trade. But this tells me that nothing was worthwhile that Leon saw, and I think he was comfortable with just, not getting fleeced. He didn't want to give up too much, and I said it when the Walker Kessler deal happened. A lot of people were like, you got to give up Deuce, you got to give up a first. It's like, I get center was a big need, but you can't be a prisoner of the moment. That's not how GMs and executives operate, right? You got to be cool, calm, collected, because your job is at stake. And you you play the waiting game and you see what plays out, and Danny Ainge was, his demands were ridiculous. They turned down an offer for 2 firsts. To me, Jalen Duren is a really intriguing upside talent, but that's exactly what he is. He's not proven yet, right? For anyone that wants to win a championship, getting a guy who's not proven yet is hardly the solution to the I Heart Mitch problem. If you're going to give up assets, you better make sure it is a proven solution. Otherwise, you're just taking another gamble, right? You're going from one gamble to another gamble as well. You may as well take the calculated gamble and keep Precious Achiuwa and keep all of your assets. You know what I mean? Could Jalen Duren be a stud in the future? Definitely. But are we ready to wait for that? Are we willing to give up assets and take another gamble? You're trying to win a chip as well. So the Knicks still have that flexibility. Teams get more desperate when it comes to December and January and February. The Knicks will have Rokas. They might have that tradable salary if we do spend the final spot on someone. We'll have Rokas. We'll have Sims, Precious to trade as well. Maybe Campaign. I've got no worries in the world right now that Leon Rose will address, a bigger move at the center spot if we need. He has to, and he knows that. Yeah, the Bucks are in a tough situation. I don't know what they can do though. Prezi says, I can't wait for the season to start. This is going to be really competitive. Most teams got better. Some will regress though. Yeah, I think so. Some will regress, including the Heat. I do think the Cavs, I do think the Bucks will regress a little bit as well. So yeah, Kevin McCullough is the favorite to find that final two-way. I think Julius finds an extension with the New York Knicks agreement in August, and I think the Knicks will fill that final roster spot with maybe another veterans minimum or a $5.2 million exception. And then yeah, we'll tweak the rotation and the roster when we get to camp as well. But yeah, more shows on the horizon. It was great to discuss this big move with everyone, and good to see the streets are buzzing still with the New York Knicks. Things are quietening down, however, which is cool. I hope everyone's getting rest and spending time with whatever you want to do with family, whether you're on vacation. Shout out to you, enjoying your summer. It's been a huge off season so far, but outside of this and the Julius extension, things like this could be the final move, or one of the last major moves after Tibbs is getting his extension now. Now all eyes are on focused on winning, right? I mean, the front office is, like I said, they've dotted their I's and crossed the T's. Now it's just up to the players and it's up to the coach. They've given the tools for these guys to go and win a championship. And like I said, you need a little bit of luck. You need, solid game planning and all of that. But we have all the soldiers now, in my opinion, to go get it done. I think there is basically no excuses outside of health, because you have everybody that you need, I think, to get this one done as well. Dark horse to improve, says Knicks 25 champs is the Charlotte Hornets. Yeah, a lot's resting on LaMelo, man. A lot is resting on LaMelo Ball's health too. Deuce McBride and Randle, yeah, they're going to be very dangerous. Yeah, Prezi says exactly CT. Duren is a project. What has Kessler and Richards really done? Come on, Precious has shown he can do his thing in the playoffs. Yep. I think we're seeing, I mean, people will rate the best thing about Leon Rose. For me, one of the best things that he's done as a Knicks executive, in my opinion, for me personally, is some of the moves that he hasn't done. People might look at Brunson, getting him here, extensions, OG trade, trading out RJ, getting other deals over the line, Dante, Hart. Look at all the deals he hasn't done that were basically on the table. We could have traded all those first to get Donovan Mitchell, which would mean that there's no Jalen Brunson here, most likely. There's a lot of other deals that people wanted him to do. I just put it down to panic. And if you're a good executive, panic shouldn't be something that should be in your repertoire. The moment you panic, it's like, if you're an owner of an organization, are you going to pay or have confidence in a president that panics? I think a good president, GM, never panics. They seize an opportunity when it's there, but they also, when their backs are to the wall, they figure it out. They find their way out. And in terms of that, that's what the Knicks did. They made the best out of the losing KD, losing Kyrie situation, and now look at the two organizations, man. Summer of 2019, where supposedly the Nets were here and the Knicks were here. Only 2, 3, 4 years later, it's like the Knicks contending and the Brooklyn Nets, they're not even, they're out of view. You can't even see them right now. So, Leon Rose has turned things around real quick. Might he be getting his extension soon? Because I know the 5-year plan is basically coming up on that one too. But happy that I'm really happy he didn't make a rash move for the Kessler deal and overpay. Obviously, it's easy for me to say that right now. The season hasn't begun, but we still have flexibility to do a deal later as well if injuries happen. But like we talked about tonight, I think we've got 3 to 4 serviceable bodies at the center position. We can rotate the minutes. I don't think it's going to kill us. I don't think that's going to be where games are won and lost, really. We have elite wing defense now and elite shooting on this squad as well. Elite grittiness, I would say. I don't know if anyone's ever described grittiness, but if you could take grittiness to an elite level, then look at this, look at this roster on screen. I think that tells the story of that one. Also, don't forget about, experience now, hunger. Most of these guys had playoff experience on a deep level. Hart now for 2 years in a row. DiVincenzo's won a championship. So has OG. Deuce McBride's been to the second round 2 years in a row now. Mitchell Robinson, a lot of playoff experience now too. Brunson, second or third round 3 years in a row. I think the closer you get to getting over the hump. And a lot of players had to experience playoff pain to take that next step, right? Not many teams take the final step early, in the first year. You have to go through the lumps, like Denver had to before they won the chip, like Milwaukee did before they finally won now too. And I think the Knicks will be poised to take that next step for this season. And we'll see what happens with that. But great move today, and I'm really happy that Precious Achiuwa is a New York Knick. Man, once a Knick, always a Knick. But he did us proud last season, and the Knicks and Leon Rose are bringing him back for another season. Insurance at the big man spot, critical for us, and that has now been addressed as well. Is he an ideal 5? He is not. But can he play the position serviceably and also provide depth at that spot? Yes. So that is big. $6 million, man. It's a good salary, a good number as well. We'll see what happens at camp, right? We'll break down any future moves live as they happen. Shout out to the best chat in the biz, right? How we fill the 2A spots and the final roster spot will be among the future topics that we talk about as well. But everyone have a blessed night as well. Salute Knicks Nation, Knicks fans around the world buzzing, and a solid day in Knicks land as Knicks and Precious Achiuwa reach a 1-year agreement now all eyes turn towards, I guess, a schedule release. Right? When are we going to get the Knicks schedule release for the NBA season? Remains to be seen. That's going to come soon, right? Like I said, news of maybe McCullough, and to see what we do with the final roster spot. Maybe we keep it open. I think that would be a solid option as well. But until the next show, guys, salute. Glad you could join us today. Salute Replay Squad. And peace, everyone. Salute.